Hey friends, welcome to this episode. I am making my black bean veggie balls today, and let me tell you, they came out yummy. Oh my goodness. Anyway, going plant-based doesn't mean eating boring food. And once you finish watching this video, I encourage you to go try them. You will not be disappointed. These are my go-to meat replacement. Right now I am cooking some yuca that I had left, and I am going to be using them as a binder. So I'm using this lovely bowl. I love that bowl. It looks really good for a nice salad. I had boiled some black beans with some aromatics. Aromatics meaning celery, fresh garlic, bay leaves, any veggies you can boil your peas with. Gonna make them so yummy, so flavorful. So I'm gonna be blending, not all the way, not all of them, but I am blending them, and I also made sure whatever aromatics I had in there I put in that jar. That way when I blend it, all the veggies and the yummy goodness is gonna be blended as well. And that is called building flavor. As a cook, as a chef, we don't use bouillons or any of that stuff to flavor our food. This is whole food plant-based, so I don't like to use anything that is prepackaged. So this little thing here with the handheld mixer is one of the best investment you could make. I think I paid like $18 for this one. And you just blend it a little bit, because the whole time I am mixing and cooking, I'm thinking of texture, okay? Think of the texture of a meatball, and this is what your goal is going to be. So I partially blended them in that jar, and you could see I'm scraping them off, the mixture off, so that this is the beginning of doing your veggie ball. You could also cook some chickpeas the same way. All right, so today I'm making black beans, but you could use any kind of beans. But usually black bean or chickpeas, they work the best when you are trying to make this mixture. You could make patties if you want to make burgers, like a black bean burger, as long as you have your base. I had some lentil. I had boiled some lentils also in aromatics, but I realized I didn't need the lentil. I had plenty. So while that's on the side, I am going to start building my veggie mix. And this is what's going to flavor your balls, your veggie balls or your veggie patties. So of course you always want to use extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. But avocado oil is super expensive, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stick to extra virgin olive oil. Now on the side there, I am chopping some onions. I had to put the camera a certain way so you could see. You had a really good view. So I am chopping onions, and again, keeping in mind small dice, just to make sure when I get to form my balls or my patties, I don't have big chunks of anything. So lots of onions. This is how you build flavor, okay? So don't be stingy, and onions are good for you. You could use onions or shallots. If you want to use red onions, your pick, okay? So building flavor, whenever you're cooking anything, if you start with the right base, you're gonna be successful every time. So don't be stingy on building that flavor. Onions and fresh garlic, you should always use those when you're trying to cook anything. I say anything beside white rice, right? Even though with white rice, Jamaicans put you could put a whole green onion in there in your water. You could do that, because all these things are called aromatics, and they just help you build flavor. So I had a whole onion, so I am chopping the whole onion in there. And I just love onions and garlic and cracked black pepper. I always feel like I can't ever have enough of those. So if you don't like a lot of onions, you can go a little bit easy on it, but I just love it. And it has served me well. You know, cooking is my passion. Cooking, being in the kitchen is my happy place. Now, when you're cooking for one, I don't cook every day. I cook maybe once or twice a week, and I always have things that I can mix and match and come up with something to eat. And again, as you get older, you don't need as many calories because you don't burn the calories as fast. Right now, I am chopping some tomatoes. I was trying to think of something that is vibrant in color. Usually when I make the balls or the patties, I have bell peppers of all colors, but I did not have any. I had used them earlier this week in another dish. So, and then I look and I'm like, I have a couple of tomatoes. So I'm using one tomato and I cut it around just the outside because I did not want to use the inside of the tomato that has the seed and that's wet. So I don't want to use the inside of the tomato. So again, you can see the cuts are about the same. This is a cooking principle, classic cooking principle, that whatever you cut should be about the same. You don't want to have different types of cuts in your food. And when I was in culinary school, we were checked off on our cuts. That was a skill they worked on really hard. And we had a chart that showed the sizes in centimeters or millimeters of what your dices you should look like. And the chefs would be sitting there, and then you present your finished product and they're measuring them against the size chart. You think about pressure. I remember tournée. We used to have to shape a potato into tournées. And to me, it was such a waste because you had to keep chopping down and trimming down to get to the exact shape. And I said to the chef one time, you know, me being a smart aleck, and I was like, what difference does it make? All right, so now I'm finished putting the chopped tomatoes. Now I am chopping some fresh garlic. Again, you can't ever have too much garlic. You wouldn't want to put that in your white rice. Remember, your white rice is the only difference. And you know, I am thinking, I cook white rice. I don't eat white rice right now. But if I were to be eating it, I would buy a small rice cooker. The rice comes out really good in those little things. I am not an air fryer person. I don't own one. I don't believe in that level of technology, but I would use a rice cooker. And I watched an Asian lady teach us the other day how to make the perfect rice. The key is in rinsing the rice multiple times until the water runs clear. Now where I come from, we rinse the rice once or twice, and we did not worry so much about the gluten, it's sticking together, which is what people talk about when you're rinsing rice. And when we were learning cooking techniques, they did not. It was like meat. They're like, you don't need to be washing the meat because the heat is gonna kill everything. But you know, we're Caribbean, so we wash everything with vinegar and lime and sour orange and and lemons. So, okay, so we've put the garlic. Now I am chopping some olives. I bought these green olives, almost like Spanish. Oh, we already, with the mushrooms. So I chop, you can buy some Spanish olive and chop them and put them in there. That is a very important ingredient. It balances the flavor profile. Then I had some mushrooms. I'm gonna chop those. If you have fresh mushrooms, that's even better. I also sometimes in this mixture, I would put some chopped walnuts. But these olives had some type of nuts in them, and it was really perfect. It gives you a little bit of a crunch, which is what you want. So now I'm chopping the mushrooms, and sometimes I like to put capers. I didn't have capers, so I did not put it in there. You can also use some black olives if you'd like, but I prefer the Spanish olives. So we are putting the mushrooms in. Let's see what else you could put in there. If you had like some broccoli, you could chop some broccoli and put in there. If you had some leftover like the spinach, you can put in there. If you had some carrots sitting around, just chop it really, about the same size and throw it in there. At this point, you're really trying to build flavor by making sure this veggie mix is on point. Now remember, I am using the tomatoes instead of bell peppers, but ideally you want to have some green, red, and yellow bell peppers and put it in there, and it would look amazing. Now some green peas. Again, I am trying to have some color and some contrast. Because I didn't have peppers, I looked in the freezer, I'm like, I got some peas. So I defrosted them in some water. Then I put them in some hot boiling water and let them sit for like 5 minutes. And that's all you need to do. Or you can blanch the peas. Blanching the peas means you're gonna boil them for like 3 minutes, and you boil them, making sure they still remain green, and then you put them in a water bath. It's called blanching. You do that for broccoli, cauliflower, and green beans when you want to preserve your beautiful green color. But this mixture is going to get mixed in with black beans, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're going to do like a salad or veggie platter, remember, blanching your veggies is the way to go. All right, so I took the beans and I chopped them down a little bit. Again, I am thinking of texture, so you realize I didn't put them in my little blended container because I fear that they were going to be too broken up. It was going to be a mixture like the peas, and I didn't want that. All these little tricks of the trade you learn as a serious cook, and somebody watching you do it understands. So cracked bell pepper. It's time for seasoning now. Slap your mama. I love this thing, so I put a little bit of that. I was able to find some here in Panama, which is wonderful. I just wish they had a larger size, but they don't. Slap your mama. I love adobo. No, this one is smoked paprika. Amojada. Humo means smoke. So amojada means it's smoked. Adobo, I always love this. Sin pimienta without pepper. So this is one of my favorite spice blends to use, and it works beautifully. Anything that doesn't have MSG, I go for. Now what you're never gonna see me use is ground pepper and ground garlic. I don't know how long these things have been sitting on the shelf, so there's no way I'm going to use them. This is plain paprika. I love paprika because it's really powdered red pepper, so you can't go wrong with paprika. Mix it all together, mix it well. Yum, yum, yum. Now, one thing I always tell you guys, or whoever, when I'm cooking, is that, let's see, what am I putting in there? You always want to put a splash of lemon juice or lime juice in your mixture. It just balances everything out. Let's see. Oh, that's looking amazing. Trying to see on the side what I'm chopping. And I am not a fast cook, and that's why probably I would not survive in a commercial kitchen. Oh, I was chopping some rosemary. Rosemary is a beautiful herb. I usually like to use it in meat because it's good for gamey meat, like not beef, but goat. If you wanted to use bison, which I've never eaten, you know, anything that's gamey, you would want to put rosemary in there, like duck. All right, I'm putting the lime juice, you see that? But I've been using rosemary a lot and it has served me well. And then everybody's talking about rosemary now. You put it in oil for your hair and all kinds of stuff. Oh my goodness. Don't get caught up in all the frenzy, but use your herbs sparingly because it's strong. You don't need a lot. I wanted to use that instead of thyme this time. Okay, so we're good with the veggie mix. Now we're going to toast our oat. We use the oats to provide a binding element. Again, we're looking for texture. You want to make sure the consistency of the balls is on point. Now, don't ask me how much. That looks about a cup. And again, it depends on how much of the beans you got. Eyeball, all right? So, and then when you toast it, use a little bit and then use more until you get the consistency that you want. A good cook doesn't usually tell you half a teaspoon this. You know, people come up with these measurements because people are always asking, oh, I need a recipe, how much it is? In the Caribbean, we do not measure anything. I mean, rice will tell you a cup of rice, 2 cups of water, right? But this looks about a cup. So I'm toasting it on medium heat, gonna let it burn. And I don't want to use it raw because when you are going to be cooking the balls, they're not going to take that long. So you don't want to use raw oats. So now I'm mashing the yuca. Now the yuca, after I chop it, sometimes, I mean, again, I don't want it to be really small. I wanted it to have a little bit of a body. But as I was mixing everything, there would be like a piece that would be a little bit too big, and of course I ate those. So, you know, that's the thing. When you're a cook, you tasting your food. By the time I finish, I'm half full. So I added the yuca to the mixture. Now putting the veggies, and then we're gonna be doing the taste test to make sure that those that veggie mix was on point for the whole mixture, for my mix with everything else. So we're mixing everything together. It's a beautiful moment, right? You know, it may take a little bit, but you know, if you're retired and you're watching this, what else do you have to do? Okay? So if you're at home, just put some music on and just keep jamming when you're doing this. It's therapeutic. Music is good for your brain. Cooking is good for your brain. And all the nice positive hormones, serotonin, dopamine, everything is flowing down your brain. You're feeling good. Cooking is my therapy. All right, time for the taste test. And you know how we do, in the hand, in the palm. Okay, I think I need a little something, something. So this is your time now to season, to taste, right? What you feel you want. A little bit of acid, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of, you couldn't put any more garlic because your garlic is cooked with the veggies, but you could put pepper, you could put adobo. Oh, there we go. Putting a little bit. And this is why, don't ask me how much. You go by taste, and then you taste to your liking. And this is a little bit of Himalayan salt. And if you notice, I didn't put any salt in this whole mixture. So it's only a little bit. You know, it's like when I make marinara. Once I cook that marinara, I don't put any salt in it. And everything else I cook with it, it tastes so yummy that you don't need to add salt to your food. There you go. Here's the mix. By Clocky, it's a beauty. All right. So we are ready. We're going to be doing the last test. On point. Yay. Good. All righty. So now we're gonna add the the toasted oats. Now this is what's going to give us the texture. So I'm not putting all of it in because you don't want it to be too hard. You just want to make sure you have the perfect consistency. And if you ask me, when do you know? Take a little bit in your hand and try to roll it. Try to form it into a patty, and that will tell you if you have the right consistency. Now I feel like I could use the rest of it, so it was just perfect. You know, the more you do stuff like that, the more comfortable you're gonna become with how much of this I need, how much of that. That just comes with experience, period. All right, so final mix. And we are pretty much done. We don't need to put anything else in this. This mixture is ready to go. It's yummy. You know, I could sit here and eat a few spoonfuls of this because everything is pretty much cooked. So this is the test. We're trying to make a ball. You roll it between your palms. And then what I'm gonna do is a mixture of cornmeal and flour, half and half, maybe a total of half a cup, quarter cup flour, quarter cup cornmeal, mix it together. Because once you make the balls, I usually roll them in something like that. That's what I do when I am making, you know, fish or, you know, something like that. And it cooks a lot better. All right, here we go. We're gonna be making some balls. We roll to the right size, and then we're gonna roll it in the flour mixture. And that is how I make my veggie balls. You would do the same thing if you had a patty, if you wanna do a burger, a black bean burger, and that is a very tasty burger. But I am not eating bread these days, so, you know, if I did a patty, I was gonna have to just eat it. And I could do that. I was thinking of making some lettuce wraps, but I don't think I'll have enough time because I have to go to the store to get the lettuce and Alrighty, so we're gonna be rolling all of them. So we're done rolling. It's time to cook the balls. Again, some olive oil. Yep. Now remember, some people are like, oh, I don't eat any oil, no salt, no fat. You know what I say? You're restricting yourself so much. How long do you think you're gonna be able to keep up with a no salt, no sugar, no fat? That's not living. And you need some fat for your skin, for your hair. So don't be an extremist, even in dieting. Anything to the extreme is not good and not sustainable, okay? And remember, you're gonna die one day anyway. We wanna live healthy, but just don't go overboard. Whenever I see people do that, I just click off and I go away and I'm like, I just can't. Okay. So, same thing for those vegans who are like, oh, I'm vegan, but I'm eating an ultra-processed cheese-like thing or nacho dip type thing. They just refuse to eat meat, but they'll go out of their way to create something that looks like meat. That makes no sense. I'm sorry, that's a pet peeve. All right. So we are cooking the balls. Yes, oh my God, they are so good. I can't even begin to tell you. Last year when I made one, and I have some pictures, I made like a sub sandwich with my yummy marinara, no cheese. I made a pita, both with the veggie balls. You could do lettuce wraps and then put some avocados on top. Yum, yum. You could also do is some plantain cups and then put maybe a guac and then top it with one veggie ball. Can you imagine how yummy that is? You can experiment. This is what I love about cooking. You know, the sky's the limit. No one can tell you what you can and what you can't do. Mixing and matching, that's my passion. And I'm good at it. I like to mix things and create different dishes because I'm plant-based. Sometimes I'm looking at some pictures of food people are eating, and I'm like, how long are you going to be eating that? It's dry. It's not appealing. And you eat with your eyes. And for me, even though I am plant-based, I refuse to eat, unflavored, boring food. I will not do it. All right, we are almost done, you guys. Almost down to the wire. Just keep flipping them around until you have a nice crunch. And this pan is good for that. Even my cast iron doesn't do a good job with, I need a new pan. I keep saying I need to go back home to get a nice pan. And what is that place? Every time I say it, I think about it and I can't remember the name that I bought them from. But a lot of places will sell you a decent pan. I bought a pan here in Panama. It's good for cooking eggs, but it's not so good for something like that. You need something that has like a little bit of a grit at the bottom. And sometimes certain, I had a friend who used the same pan to bake brownies years ago. I mean, that thing looked raggedy and old. She said this is her go-to pan, and the brownies came out perfect every time. And then I understand that because look at this pan. It doesn't look that good, but I can cook. If I'm cooking plantain, this is my go-to pan. When I use my cast iron, it splashes oil all over the place, and I don't like using the cast iron for that. Cast irons are good for like to bake cornbread and certain things, mac and cheese or something like that. But none of those things I eat anymore. So I was looking at a cornbread recipe today that I have a recipe I make with jalapeno and cheese and bacon. I used to make it. Oh my God. That stuff was so good. But now, when you become vintage, a certain age, certain things you just can't do anymore. You just can't eat the way you used to eat before. And that's what successful aging means, that you are protecting that body. That's what, when I think of what the things I used to eat or feed my kids, I am so appalled. And I'm like, oh my God, the damage I did with those kids, with the Kool-Aid and the little Hot Pockets and the mini cheese pizzas. I thought I was super mom, but oh my God. All right, batch number 2. Almost there, you guys. I know it sounds like a long process, but by this time you have the music going, you have a drink, a glass of wine, and you're just chilling. This is therapy. This is your therapy session. Think about it. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to do a food video every weekend. Like on Sundays, I'm going to post it. My regular Panama video goes out on Friday afternoon, and then maybe I will schedule these for Sunday 12 midnight. That way, if somebody wants to try them that Sunday, they can. And usually my recipes are real simple because I don't eat complicated. There's no meat, so it's just whatever I come up with. All right. We are almost done. Yes. So that should last me a few days, maybe 3 to 4 days. Here they are. Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they gorgeous? Yes, yes, yes. So one thing I added to the vegetable mixture is a little bit of habanero peppers. And let me tell you, I was looking for habanero. I found habanero, and they are hot, hot, hot. So you don't need a whole lot. I just use those for decoration. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. Give it a try, either the balls or a patty, and let me know what you think. Eating whole food, plant-based does not have to be boring. It does not have to be hard. Good luck. Bye-bye.